Kyler opened his mouth to speak. But no words came out. He knew what he wanted to say. He had practiced the sentences in his mind 100 times. But when the moment came, his mind went blank. The people around him waited politely. Kyler felt the pressure rising in his chest. His hands started to sweat. And in that heavy silence, he finally muttered a few broken words. Stopping and starting, searching desperately for the right ones. If you've ever felt like Kyler, you're not alone. So many English learners experience this same frustrating moment. They know the words. They understand English. But when it's time to speak, the pauses take over. The brain freezes. And the confidence disappears. But here's the good news. It's not because you're not smart enough. It's not because you're bad at English. It's because no one ever taught you how to break free from the thinking trap and speak with natural flow. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. In this episode, you'll discover why you keep pausing and why it's not your fault. How overthinking secretly kills your fluency. Simple techniques to keep talking even when your brain feels stuck. Daily exercises to speed up your thoughts and words. And the mindset shifts that will finally set you free. So, if you're tired of freezing when you speak, if you're ready to sound more natural, more confident, and more fluent, stay with me. Your breakthrough might just start right here, right now. Let's dive in. 1. Why you pause when speaking English. It's not just lack of words. When Kyler froze that day, most people would have said, he just needs a bigger vocabulary. But that's only part of the story. Yes, knowing more words helps. But it's not the real reason you pause when you speak English. There are actually 5 hidden reasons that cause most learners to hesitate, even if they know what they want to say. The first reason is lack of confidence. When you're scared of making mistakes, your brain tries to protect you. It slows you down. It tells you to double-check every word before you speak. And that hesitation breaks your flow. Kyler once said, I was so afraid of saying something wrong that I said almost nothing at all. The second reason is limited vocabulary access. Not just knowing words, but being able to grab them quickly. Imagine your brain is like a library. If the books, your words, are organized and easy to reach, you speak smoothly. But if you have to search every time, you pause and stumble. The third reason is overthinking and translating. Many learners form sentences in their native language first, then try to translate them into English. But languages don't match word for word. So the brain gets stuck trying to make it perfect. And you end up pausing. The fourth reason is pressure and nervousness. When you feel stressed, especially speaking to native speakers, your brain literally slows down. Science shows that stress can block the parts of the brain responsible for fast speech and recall. It's not your fault. It's a natural reaction. And finally, the fifth reason is bad habits from old learning methods. Maybe you were taught to focus only on grammar rules. Or maybe you were told to get it perfect before you speak. These habits create fear. They make your brain stop and second-guess itself, instead of letting words flow naturally. When Kyler realized this, it changed everything for him. He stopped blaming himself. He stopped thinking, I'm bad at English. And he started thinking, my brain is just stuck in the wrong habits. I can fix this. That's the first big lesson today. Backhand index pointing right. If you pause when speaking English, it's not because you're bad at English. It's because you've been trained to overthink. And the good news? If you can train your brain to overthink, you can also retrain it to flow. That's what we're going to work on next. Let's dive into the silent killer that makes pausing even worse, and how to defeat it for good. 2. The silent killer. How overthinking destroys your speaking flow. After Kyler realized he wasn't bad at English, he began to notice something deeper. It wasn't just missing words that made him pause. It was something invisible. Something happening inside his mind every time he tried to speak. It was overthinking. Overthinking is the silent killer of speaking flow. It doesn't shout. It doesn't make a loud noise. It sneaks in quietly and blocks your natural voice. Here's what happens. When you overthink, your brain runs a checklist before you say anything. Is this the right word? Is my grammar correct? Will they laugh at me? Maybe I should wait and say nothing. And while your brain is busy checking, the conversation moves on without you. Kyler described it perfectly once. He said, "It felt like my mouth wanted to speak, but my brain kept pulling the brakes." Overthinking causes tiny delays. Half a second here, 1 second there, and suddenly, you're behind the flow of the conversation. You start to feel awkward. You lose your train of thought. And you become even more afraid to speak next time. It's a vicious cycle. The more you overthink, the more you pause. The more you pause, the more you doubt yourself. And the more you doubt yourself, the more you overthink again. But here's something powerful to remember. Backhand index pointing right fluency isn't about perfect words. It's about keeping the conversation alive. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. They restart sentences. They say and. They change their minds mid-sentence. But they keep talking. They don't let overthinking shut them down. And you can learn to do the same. Instead of aiming for perfect speech, aim for continuous speech. It's okay to say, "Well, I mean, what I'm trying to say is." It's okay to adjust your sentence as you go. What matters is staying in the flow, not getting stuck in your head. Kyler learned this the hard way. But once he stopped trying to be perfect, something amazing happened. He spoke faster. He felt more natural. And people understood him better. Even if his sentences weren't 100% perfect. That's the second big lesson today. Backhand index pointing right overthinking kills fluency. Flow keeps it alive. And now, you might be wondering, if overthinking is the enemy, then how do you break free from it? How do you keep talking, even when your mind wants to hesitate? That's exactly what we'll cover next. With 4 simple techniques you can start using today. Let's go. 3. Break the pause cycle. 4 simple techniques to keep talking. Now that we understand how overthinking destroys speaking flow, the next question is simple. How do we fight back? How do we keep talking, even when our brain wants to freeze? Kyler asked the same question. And today, I'll share with you the 4 simple techniques he used to break the pause cycle and speak more smoothly than ever before. Technique 1. Think in English, not in your native language. When you think in English, you remove the need to translate. Your brain doesn't have to work twice. It just speaks. Start with simple thoughts. If you're drinking coffee, think, "I'm drinking coffee." If you see a dog, think, "There's a dog running." Kyler started by describing everything he saw during his walk to work. At first, it felt slow. But after a few weeks, he noticed something amazing. Words started to come faster, without translating. Technique 2. Use smart filler words. Native speakers don't panic when they need a moment to think. They use filler words to keep the conversation moving. Words like, "Well, you know, actually, I mean," instead of falling into a long, awkward silence. You can buy yourself time naturally. For example, "Well, I think it's a great idea. You know, I really enjoyed that movie." Kyler practiced using fillers during conversations, and it made his speech sound much more natural. Technique 3. Shadowing plus mirroring practice. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and immediately repeating what they say, copying their rhythm, speed, and intonation. Mirroring takes it a step further. You not only repeat the words, but also copy their emotions, tone, and body language. Kyler would pick short YouTube clips, pause after every sentence, and repeat exactly like the speaker. This exercise trained his brain to think and speak faster, without pausing. Technique 4. Speak in complete thoughts, not perfect sentences. Many learners try to build the perfect sentence before speaking. That's a trap. Instead, focus on complete ideas. It's okay to say, I like, playing soccer and hanging out with friends. It's messy, but it communicates the idea clearly and keeps the conversation alive. Kyler stopped trying to be a grammar machine. He focused on expressing complete thoughts, and speaking became so much easier. The small secret is this. Backhand index pointing right fluency is built through motion, not perfection. The more you move your mouth, the more your brain adapts. The more you keep talking, the more natural it feels. And soon, pausing will feel like a thing of the past. Now that you have these techniques, you might be wondering, okay, I understand what to do. But how can I train my brain to think and respond faster? Great question. That's exactly what we're going to dive into next. Let's go. 4. Speed up your brain, how to think and speak faster. Once Kyler broke the pause cycle, he realized something else. He wasn't just fighting pauses. He needed to train his brain to find words faster, to build sentences quicker, to respond almost automatically. Fluency is like a muscle. If you train it the right way, it gets faster and stronger every day. Here are the 4 powerful techniques Kyler used to speed up his brain for English speaking. Technique 1. Learn phrases, not just words. Words are lonely. Phrases travel together. Instead of memorizing single words, memorize common phrase chunks. For example, don't just learn opinion. Learn in my opinion. Don't just memorize important. Learn, it's important too. Kyler started making small lists of useful phrases. He practiced saying them out loud every day. Soon, complete sentences started flowing naturally, without building them word by word. Technique 2. Active listening with prediction. Passive listening is easy. Just let the sounds wash over you. But active listening is a superpower. When you listen actively, you guess what the speaker will say next. For example, if you hear, today I want to talk about, you might predict, my favorite hobby, or an important topic. Kyler turned every podcast and YouTube video into a game of prediction. This trained his brain to think ahead and respond faster in real conversations. Technique 3. Story shortcut training. Telling long, perfect stories is hard. But you don't have to remember every word. You just need the key points. Pick a short story. Write down 3 or 4 bullet points, and retell the story in your own words. Kyler loved this exercise. He would listen to short news stories, grab the main ideas, and retell them quickly. This trained his brain to organize thoughts fast and speak without freezing. Technique 4. Copy native flow with 30-second drills. Pick a 30-second clip from a native speaker. Listen carefully to their rhythm, speed, and pauses. Then copy everything, not just the words, but the musicality of how they speak. Kyler would pick short scenes from TV shows or interviews. At first, he stumbled a lot. But after a few weeks, his speaking rhythm started to sound much more natural and much faster. The small secret is this. Backhand index pointing right, the faster you think in English, the faster you speak in English. It's not about knowing every word. It's about training your brain to jump from idea to idea, smoothly and confidently. Kyler didn't become faster overnight. But with daily practice, his brain rewired itself. And yours can too. Now that you know how to train your brain, it's time for the fun part. Real practice. Let's dive into 5 practical exercises to help you speak English without pausing. You're going to love this next part. 5. Real practice. 5 daily exercises to kill pausing forever. By now, you know the techniques. You know how to train your brain. You understand how to keep the flow alive. But knowledge is not enough. Action is everything. Kyler realized this too. He once said, "I knew all the tips, but my English only changed when I started practicing every single day." So if you want real results, it's time to move from knowing to doing. Here are 5 simple exercises you can practice daily to kill pausing forever and speak English with true fluency. Exercise 1. 1-minute freestyle talk. Pick a random topic. Set a timer for 1 minute. Speak out loud without stopping, no matter what. If you run out of ideas, repeat yourself. If you get stuck, use filler words. The goal is not perfect grammar. The goal is continuous talking. Kyler practiced this every morning while brushing his teeth. And every day, his words became smoother and faster. Exercise 2. Story retelling in your own words. Listen to a short story, a podcast, a YouTube video, or a news article. Don't memorize it. Instead, write down 3 to 5 key points. Then retell the story using your own words. Kyler loved doing this while riding the subway. It trained his brain to organize thoughts quickly and speak naturally without memorizing. Exercise 3. 2-minute speed conversations. Find a speaking partner or talk to yourself in the mirror. Set a timer for 2 minutes. Choose a topic. The rule: keep talking fast, no long pauses allowed. Topics can be simple like, "What I love about weekends," or "My favorite childhood memory." Kyler sometimes pretended he was being interviewed on TV. It made practice more fun and exciting. Exercise 4. Speech-to-text challenge. Use the speech-to-text feature on your phone. Speak naturally for 1 minute about any topic. Then read what your phone recorded. The goal isn't 100% accuracy. The goal is to see if your speech flows clearly enough to be understood. Kyler checked his recordings daily, and every small improvement gave him new confidence. Exercise 5. 5-second, quick reply game. Imagine someone asks you a simple question. What's your favorite food? What did you do yesterday? What's your dream vacation? You have 5 seconds to answer. No preparing, no perfect sentences. Kyler played this game with himself every night before sleeping. It forced his brain to react fast. Just like in real conversations. The small secret is this. Backhand index pointing right consistency beats intensity. It's better to practice 5 minutes every day than to practice 2 hours once a week. Tiny daily actions build real fluency over time. Just like Kyler, if you commit to small daily practice, you'll be amazed by how much smoother and faster your English becomes. You made it to the end. And that already says something powerful about you. You're not just someone who dreams of speaking English fluently. You're someone who is willing to take action, to learn, to grow. Kyler's journey wasn't easy. And yours won't be perfect either. There will be days when the words feel stuck. There will be moments when you doubt yourself. And that's okay. Because every pause you break Every small sentence you finish, every brave attempt you make, is one step closer to fluency. Remember this. Backhand index pointing right fluency is not a gift. It's a skill. And skills are built one word, one sentence, one day at a time. You already have everything you need inside you. Now it's just about showing up for yourself. A little bit every day. So keep practicing. Keep pushing. Keep speaking, even when it feels hard. Because one day soon, you'll open your mouth. And the words will just flow. No fear. No freezing. Just you, speaking English with confidence, naturally and freely. If today's episode helped you, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. And leave a comment below. What's one small action you'll take today to move closer to your English fluency? We'd love to hear your story. Thanks for being here. And remember, you're closer than you think. See you next time.